Hello people watching us from all over the YouTube universe. This is Table of Contents, it's daily news show, and I'm your host, Ahmed. As promised yesterday, our first and most important story of the day will be an exclusive on Jamal Khashoggi, which we'll be talking about in a few minutes. Second story of the day is Cameroon's elections. The results still haven't been actually formalized, so there's no official winner yet, but we're going to be talking about what happened and what's at stake in Cameroon. And third and final news story of the day will be a sort of slightly more positive story, as famous tennis player Rafael Nadal helps his local community in Mallorca to endure the heavy floods which they suffered recently. And now, let's go to the Big Three. Oh, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. And please don't be racist in the comment section. Thank you very much.
Can't have you, nobody can. Bare face so they all know who
Big
I
shout
am.
out to J Hus, definitely our favorite artist at the moment, taking over the London scene. So our surprise today for the Jamal Khashoggi story features actually one of our own IST's YouTube star, Mohammed Hassan, host of Buzz, and our correspondent here at Table of Contents. So let's actually call Hassan up right now. He's outside the Saudi embassy here in Turkey, the center of a lot of controversy around the world after the disappearance of the renowned Saudi journalist, Mohammed. Mohammed.
Hey Ahmed, yes.
So bro, thank you very much for being on the show and for taking this very important news topic and trying to shed light on it. So the first question that's on everybody's mind is, how do you say this guy's name? He has way too many G's in his name. So if you can tell us a little bit about him, how to say his name, what's the story is really behind this guy.
The journalist in question is Jamal Khashoggi. He's a prominent Saudi journalist who's been living in exile for more than a year now and has been very critical of the Saudi government as well as some members of the royal family. And what happened last Tuesday, from what we understand, is that he was walking through these doors into the Saudi consulate here in Istanbul to figure out his divorce papers, to finalize them so he can get remarried, and then he disappeared. And since then, people have been trying to figure out what happened to him, and because of a lot of leaks that we've been getting through official and semi-official channels from the Turkish government as well as the police, we know that the Turkish police believe that he was killed by a plot from the Saudi government inside the walls of this consulate. Now, this is something that the Saudi government has denied categorically, but up until now, the investigation continues, and we're waiting to see what the police as well as the Turkish government have to say.
Also, there's been a lot of speculation with regards to the international response, particularly Donald Trump. Now, understanding that Donald Trump reads op-eds from the Washington Post and other such media outlets as his own international politics homework, is there a chance that Donald Trump read Khashoggi, said that he was fake news, and that's why he's been so late to respond to his favorite Saudi babies? Is this true?
So of course, Donald Trump's position on this is interesting. The US is very, very close allies to Saudi Arabia, and the Trump administration in particular has been increasingly closer to MBS, to Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and his government.
Well, considering you're a journalist as well, and coming back to your own work that you've done for Buzz, let's say, I remember you actually did a very good piece about Islamophobia. Do you think that there's a chance that New Zealand sends a 15-man hit squad to assassinate you after your piece about Islamophobia in New Zealand? Please do be honest, you know, you're on camera, you're live, don't hide it. We're here to save you and help you.
No, it's not true, Ahmed, thankfully, as far as I know. But what this has done really is terrify a lot of Arab dissidents, a lot of Saudi dissidents, but also a lot of journalists that are working in this region. If this prominent public figure from Saudi Arabia could be a target by the Saudi regime, then it could mean that a lot of other people working in the region are in danger.
Thank you very much for that very thorough breakdown, Mohammed. Please keep an eye out. Don't go into that consulate, because we do love you and your beautiful blue eyes. But just finally, this is actually coming from all of IST's 7,000 subscribers. Could you say Mohammed very many times quickly as you did in the poem? So 1, 2, 3, Mohammed, Hamid, 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 Hamid.
I'm not gonna say my name, okay? You know my name already. All right, back to you, Ahmed.
Thank you very much, Mohammed Hassan, the man with the most beautiful eyes on IST. Thank you very much.
If I can have you, nobody can.
So now, for the second news story of the day coming out of Cameroon. So there was an election, presidential election in Cameroon. Maurice Kamto, who represents the Movement for the Rebirth of Cameroon, for short MRC, has claimed victory before the official results have come out. The incumbent president, Paul Biya, and his cabinet have refused to accept this victory and are waiting for the official result. Now, just a bit of context on Cameroon. Paul Biya is 85 years old. He's the longest serving African president president at the moment. He's been in power for 35 years. If he was to step down for power and someone else were to win, Mr. Kamto, who's definitely one of the favorites here, that would be Cameroon's third president since its independence from French colonialism. Now, the problem with these elections is that they were marred with violence. So for those of you who don't know, Cameroon, which will show up right here, basically has a marginalized population. So in its western areas, in the northwest and in the southwest, there's what they call the Anglophone population. The language that they choose to speak in is English, opposite to the rest of the country who speaks in French. So now many of these guys have started a rebellion against the government, accusing them of marginalizing them and not giving them the same sort of adequate opportunities and rights as the rest of the population. So there was actually many incidents of violence in the west of the country during election day, with multiple deaths being reported on the day. So of course the results may spark more political instability. Hopefully there can be a peaceful democratic transition, which is what the opposition is actually calling for. Now what Paul Biya will do, will he go the extra mile to stay in power? We will see next week on our show when the results have come out.
If I can have you, no.
So the third news story, which of course does have some sort of element of negativity, Mallorca in South Spain was hit by flash floods. Tourists were also caught in the middle. There was a British couple who died. 10 people confirmed dead at the moment. There's also a missing 5-year-old boy, which authorities are trying to find right now. However, what was beautiful to see, a major act of humility and sort of giving back to one's community, was by the tennis superstar Rafael Nadal. Yes, the man who doesn't let a ball slip on the tennis court. Absolute amazing athlete, amazing conduct, of course. And yes, and he dressed up as a cleaner and he was helping the authorities to clean up. And this was something beautiful, a true act of a champion, a true act of humility and true act of giving back to his own community, because he does come from Mallorca. So he did take this incident quite personally, and that should encourage other people such as him in Spain, in and around the Mallorca community, to help the people of Mallorca to deal with this natural disaster. And of course, with natural disasters also hitting Indonesia, Hurricane Michael in North America, it is fair to say that climate change is really fucking the world up. Finally, the video of the day is actually from the UFC, but it's not what you think. It's not the image of Khabib jumping on Conor McGregor's team. There's actually many other more funny moments during that night, and the funniest actually came from Derek Lewis, a heavyweight UFC fighter. He's got a lot of knockout power. But let's take a look and see how he celebrated his win and what he said in the post-match presser with Joe Rogan in the arena.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off?
My balls was hot. My balls was hot. A few hours before the fight, Donald Trump called me and told me I got to knock this Russian out because they're making him look bad on the news. You know, him and Putin, they talking about USA and his whole.
So he took his pants off and he actually said that his balls were hot, which I found hilarious. And then he went on a rant about how Donald Trump called him and told him that he needs to knock out this Russian guy. Absolutely hilarious stuff. Shout out to Derek Lewis and his big win. Very funny guy. And yes, catch us tomorrow for more news on Table of Content. Thank you very much, people. And now for our signature dance.
If I can have you, nobody can.
Nobody can. If you see what you did to the man.
If you saw what the skank done to the man. If I can't have you, nobody can.
So for all our IST viewers, of course, this is very important. If you do find a piece of news that you do want us to cover, a very cool video that you want us to put in our video of the day section, any feedback on the show, any of your opinions on what's going on in your parts of the world, do let us know. Very interested for you to have a say in this new show.